working? Yeah, okay. Hi everyone. Haven't done one of these videos for a while. I think the last one I did was just after Cruiser passed away, which was 5 months ago, as of a few days ago. It's been a long 5 months. It really has. I have learned so much about myself and about people in general in the last 5 months. When Cruiser passed away, my world literally collapsed. And that tends to happen when you have someone who's very important to you die. My world collapsed completely. And it has been a very rough road for me personally, and for my young adult on training wheels, my daughter, and for Rick. In that time, I've had people come and go, which tends to happen. I've had people not be able to deal with my grief and walk. I've not dealt with my grief and people, and probably made people walk. Spiritually, I've learnt a lot. I've learnt that not everyone will be there when you need them. Not everybody can handle death. Not everyone can handle grief. And not everybody can be nice about it. The last 5 months, I've had a big wake-up call. I started doing this thing spiritually, professionally, about four years ago. And when I came into it, I was so relieved that there were people like me out there. That people did what I did. But I grew up in a family that didn't really believe in this stuff. I grew up in a very Catholic family. I went to a Catholic school. Most of my childhood friends are from that Catholic school. I didn't fit in at the Catholic school. I mean, once you're a witch, you're a witch. And I am a practicing witch now. And I've probably been a witch my whole life. I've been talking to dead people my whole life. The first spirit I can remember talking to was I was 7 years old. And he was a young man who used to hang by a rope in my walk-in wardrobe when I was a kid. And I have no idea what that spirit was. He wasn't human, I'll give you that. He had his eyes were like an electric blue mist, and he had fangs. I wasn't scared of him. He gave me a sense of security and protection. My dad used to work as a groundsman at a cemetery when I was growing up, and I spent a lot of time running through the local cemetery as a kid, talking to what I thought were real people, but they weren't. They were real people, it's just that nobody could see them but me. So I've been doing this a long time. Unbeknownst to me, I've been doing it a long time. But there is a side of the spiritual and the material world where if you see things that other people don't, they tend to label you as crazy and ill and treat you that way. And that happened to me. That was my life for a long time. And then I met Rick, and the one thing he said to me that made so much sense is, you're not crazy. What you're doing is quite normal. It's just that other people don't admit it. So I started doing this professionally, and I was so relieved that I wasn't labelled crazy. But with every field, there is a downside, and I found that downside very quickly. I work very differently to most people because of my epilepsy, my spiritual abilities are wired differently. Most mediums have the ability to switch on and off. They can be in the material world or in the spiritual world. It's very difficult for me to do that. So most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time I'm connected. And I see and hear dead people. And that's what people don't understand, either in the material world or the spiritual world. I have learned very quickly that if people don't understand, they jump to conclusions. And that goes for spiritual and paranormal people too. And in the last 5 months, I've been pretty much smacked in the face with it. And it's been a tough lesson to learn that not all spiritual people are nice. Not all paranormal people are professional. Because I came in this with no experience. I see dead people. I talk to dead people. And that's all I knew. I didn't know about the politics. I didn't know about the factions of different teams. I didn't know about what was real and what wasn't. I just knew what I did. And I knew what I did was right. It's what I do. There's been a number of comments on a few of our videos with me using rods saying that I'm moving my hands. Yes, but I'm not moving my hands. I have the ability to channel. I also have the ability to trance channel. And a lot of the time when people tell me I'm moving my hands, I'm not aware of it. It's not a subconscious thing, it's a channel. Channeling is one of those things that mediums can either do or they can't. Channeling is when your guides step aside and let a spirit take over. I tell people that channeling is when I step out and someone else steps in. I have no memory of it. I don't recall it. If it's a full channel, I have no recollection of what's happened at all. My guides fill me in later. So for those of you who think that putting a smart ass comment on one of our videos saying that I move my hands will get you anywhere, it won't. Because I know what I do. And there are lots of other people that know what I do. The ability to trance channel is one of those higher abilities that mediums have. The ability to do it safely is a skill. I had an episode a couple of days ago. We've had a few negative energies pop up at the house. And we've had a few negative energies pop up at the house. And I've had to deal with that. And it's part and parcel with what we do. We don't walk away when someone says they've got something negative in the house. We don't walk away when people say that they've got a negative attachment. If they need help, we help them. That's what we do. That's what I do. We had this negative energy rock up at the house. I'm not very well. I have a lot of health issues. And it's not uncommon for me, for my energy, when I am really ill, to be through my ass. It's really not. I cannot function in the material world, let alone in the spiritual world, when I'm sick. And most mediums can't. We had one rock up at the house, and it had a pretty fucking good go at me. Excuse my language. It did. It had, we'll have to edit that out. It had a good go at me. And I was really ill. And it also didn't leave. My guide stepped in and I stepped out. And I don't know what happened. I woke up. I had a friend of mine here. She looked terrified when I came out of the trance. I had channeled 3 of my guides, my spell book and my book of shadows, and my spells were literally all over the floor in the lounge room. Pages and pages of them had been torn out. And I don't know what I did. but the spirit, the negative energy, buggered off. There is some of you out there that isn't going to believe what I just said, and that's fine. That's okay. But there is a side of the spiritual that is darker than any negative energy I've come across. And that's when you come across people with ego, people who think they know best. People think because they've been in the paranormal world for a while, or 5 minutes, or they have all of the bells and whistles, they think they know better. They think they know how you work. They think they can tell you how you work, and they think they can tell other people how you work. But they don't ask you. This has happened to me over the last couple of months. There have been rumours circulating that I'm a black witch. There are rumours circulating that I'm harming people with my abilities. There are rumours circulating that I am astral travelling to other people's houses. No. When I'm really ill, I can barely conjure a storm in a teacup. But it doesn't stop the rumours. And we all are aware of the problems that I had a few months ago when I took myself and my friend Jerry out in public. We're all aware of that, and I'm not going to go into that. The truth is that there is a very dark energy within the paranormal field, and that's bullying. And it's that simple. It's bullying. It's putting down other teams. It's putting down particular people. It's putting down people that you have never met and you won't meet. And I don't understand it. I really don't. If you worked in an office, if you worked in a profession like medicine or nursing or childcare, and there was bullying in the workplace, someone would put a stop to it. I was having a conversation with someone about this a few days ago, and they just looked at me and they said, well, that's the way the field is. I said, well, that's not good enough. It is not good enough to have a group of professionals whose field is already questionable by just about everybody to wander around within itself and bring people within it down. That's not acceptable. That's not how adults behave. That's how children behave. That's how teenage girls behave. I went to a private school, a private Catholic school. I'm pretty aware of what bullying looks like. I was bullied most of my high school years. It's not how it should be, it's how we accept it. If you accept that that's the way the field is, you're part of the problem. And I'm sorry, that's it. If you're not willing to change it, you're part of the problem. If you sit there and go, well, you know, that's the way it is, there are people out there who will have a go at you. Well, that's fine, you can have a go at someone, but you don't public humiliate them. You don't spread rumours. You don't act like a teenager. I am not a black witch. I call myself a grey witch. And I call myself that because life isn't black and white, and neither is the spiritual. You can use negative energy to do good things. You can have negative entities looking for redemption, and in order to pay that karmic debt, they do good things with what they know. I'm not a black witch. I couldn't give a flying fruit fly what other people are doing. I worry about myself, my daughter, and Rick, and my friends. If you don't understand something, ask. If you don't like someone's attitude, walk away. But walk away with honour. Don't be the one spreading the gossip and the rumours. Walk away and accept that you don't agree with what they do, but you're not going to feed into this undertone of bullying and harassment of other people. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors for anybody. You really don't. If that person is an egotistical so-and-so, then so be it. You don't have to worry about that. That's their problem, and karma will get them. Eventually karma will get them. If you don't agree with somebody, if you think what they're doing is not legitimate, then walking around without evidence and putting that person's name through the mud without evidence, without sitting down and talking to that person, without trying to explain yourself to them, no. I work as a spiritual teacher. I teach a group of ladies every Wednesday night. We've had to stop due to COVID at the moment. And we have a chat group. And my role as a teacher, I take exceptionally seriously. I do. I take it very, very seriously. I have a duty of care to those people. And sometimes being in that position is never easy. But you have to be fair. You have to try and be fair. You have to put yourself aside and try and be fair. And even when I put myself aside and I'm trying to be fair in that group, I'm still accused of doing it personally. You know, you get that. Rick's done a number of videos on bullying, and I'm going to call it that because I'm going to say a spade a spade. It's bullying, and I've been on the receiving end of it for the last 3 years, on and off, because people don't understand. They don't understand how I work, and they're not willing to learn. I'm not the easiest person to get on with. Like I said, I've got a lot of health issues. Last 5 months I've been particularly short-fused because I lost Cruiser. But the last 5 months I've also lost my faith in the field that I so love to work in. I've lost my faith in the people in that field, the people who call themselves spiritual, who call themselves mediums, who call themselves healers. Because the role of a medium isn't about you. I read for people here at the house, and it's never about me. The people are here for as long as they need to be. They pay what they think they can afford and what they think it's worth. And yes, there are people out there who, charge an absolute friggin' fortune for what they do. And that annoys me. But having somebody who doesn't know you and you have never had a conversation with accuse you of hexing them or cursing them. You've never had a conversation. I've never had a conversation with this woman who I later found out was walking around telling people I'd cursed and hexed her. Never had a face-to-face conversation with her. Ever. But I know where that rumour came from. And I'm not impressed. I'm really not. And I'm not going to name and shame anybody because that's bullying. This blog is for my own personal sanity, really. I'm not going to sit here and name and shame teams and organisations, and I'm not going to do that, or people, or businesses. But when you've never had a conversation with a woman, and she's walking around telling people that you have hexed her, when you are under the impression that you have left a situation in a positive note, and later find out a lot of the negativity that you were feeling after you left had come from that place. It bites. It really does. Life has shades of grey, and so does the spiritual. You may not always be able to see that shade of grey or understand the grey parts of it. But that's when you have to open your mind. I've got a meme on my page and it says, open your mind, your brain won't fall out. Some people are so frightened to open their mind to other possibilities that they close it off to everything else. Rick and I run Black Rose Spirited. We are Black Rose Spirited. We've had people come and go. We bring people out with us, but we are Black Rose. And it's been a long, hard learning curve for me being part of that team. And I've wanted to quit so many times. And Rick hasn't let me. I've wanted to give away what I do so often because of the reactions of other people. And Rick hasn't let me. I guess my advice on this blog is don't feed in to that negative undertone that's in this community. Don't feed into it. Instead of feeding into it, stand up to it. Stand up to the bullying. Don't perpetuate the gossip and the rumours. Go to the source. Ask the team. See what they're like. And if it comes out that you do not get on with that team, then you know for sure and you feel educated. But don't perpetuate the problem. I love what I do. Honestly, I do. I love it. I love my job. I love talking to spirit. I love meeting the living. I love helping people through whatever traumatic event they're going through. I love giving closure to people. I love working on murder cases and police cases, and I love reading cards. I love what I do. What I don't love is the field I do it in. And that's the saddest thing. Don't perpetuate that. Don't perpetuate the negativity and the undertone and the bullying that goes on in this field. Because we are all adults. It's unfortunate that some people forget how to behave like one. I'm having trouble talking today because my epilepsy is not the greatest. My mouth is not doing what it's meant to do, and my words are probably slurring at the moment, and I apologise for that. But that's who I am. That's what I do. Because that's part of me. My epilepsy is not fantastically awesome today. My pain levels are not fantastically awesome today. I live with chronic pain. It's a mystery. They're trying to figure it out. We all know how to behave. Just do it. Because one day, if you are in this field, you will find yourself on the other end. Because it's a massive problem. Take care, everybody.